The boxy-shaped 45th US state is going through a new transformation in vexillology terms. This is the story of the evolution of the flag of Utah. We start by returning to the 9th of September 1850. I know this because the date is actually written on the flag, and it refers to when the territory was established, and the use of the beehive first appears on the design. The beehive not because there's a lot of bees in the state, but because it represents the people of the community working closely together to support and help one another to create a successful industry, and hence why the word later appears on the future flag. However, there is no actual documentational evidence to state that this design was ever made into an actual flying flag. We then move to these monochrome style of flags for the next decade, which starts with this design in 1903. The coat of arms is a blue and white version of the state seal, which was designed by Harry Edwards with C.M. Jackson and was made official 7 years earlier on the 3rd of April 1896. The centrepiece is a shield with the word industry above the beehive to both represent progress and hard work. 1847 is the year the original Mormon pioneers arrived at Salt Lake Valley. The 6 arrows at the top of the shield are for the 6 Native American tribes that live in the state. This is flanked by 2 American flags, originally 45 stars each for the 45th state, but this was later amended to 46. Above all this is a bald eagle, which is the national bird of the United States and symbolises protection in peace and war. This version is a simplified style of the original seal, less stars on the flag. There's just 20 in total here, and obviously the lack of colour. The 1904 version is amended slightly where the outlines are more prominent and the name Utah is added, probably due to its inclusion in a world fair where all state flags at the time were flown. 1911 saw this embroidered version made official in legislation, originally known as the governor's flag. This version replaced any previous design as the state flag. However, it was short-lived and colour arrived in 1913, probably by mistake, with this rather rudimentary attempt, which was made by the Daughters of Utah Pioneers, who were asked to make a version of the flag for the USS Utah. However, what they produced was an unauthorised colour version with a slight redesign. Instead of ignoring this flag, legislation was again amended to make this new coloured version the official flag. It's thought that the original flag that was given to the crew of the USS Utah went down with the boat when it was sunk during the Pearl Harbor attacks in 1941. I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to Professor Flagg, details above, who helped me with some of the finer details about Utah's flag history throughout this episode. So let's get back to the subject in hand. In 1922, controversy ensued, although no one knew it at the time, when a copy of a 1911 version was misdesigned and this was used. No change of legislation this time, no acknowledgement that this has officially changed or been amended, just everyone post-1922 used this flag as a blueprint for all subsequent flags. That lasted up until 2011, 89 years later, when it was decided that the authorities should fix this incorrect design. The mistake? The year 1847 was put in the wrong place. It should have sat just below the name of Utah and not between the flags above the 1896 date, and no one had coloured in the shield either. So this official version takes over and stays as the state flag until 2024. But I'm jumping ahead because in 2018 it was motioned that a flag redesign was necessary, and the public were asked whether lawmakers should change the flag. This resulted in a state flag task force being created and the public invited to submit designs. Part of this was in 2021 when a very important additional commemorative flag appeared, specially to celebrate the 125th anniversary of Utah's statehood. It was also used as an example to demonstrate what a potential new state flag could look like. 5,703 designs were submitted, almost half of them by students. These were whittled down to 20 semi-finalists, which was then open for public to send in feedback. November 2022 saw this design put forward as a consideration to be adopted. Only one minor change was made in that the star reduced the number of points down from 8 to 5 as used in the commemorative version. The blue represents the lakes and wide open skies, as well as the principles of knowledge, freedom, optimism and tradition. The hexagon rim, or indeed the honeycomb, stands for strength and unity, White for peace and the snowy mountain peaks, of which there are 5 to also recognise the state's 5 indigenous people. In the original version of this flag, as stated, there was an 8-pointed star for the 8 tribal nations, but from a design perspective, it was eventually agreed that a 5-pointed version was a cleaner and clearer and more recognisable from a distant star. And the star now represents both hope and 1896, the year Utah added its star to the US flag. Finally, red for the southern canyons and the rocky valleys. The beehive remains with the original 1800s representation. This Utah flag has an official adoption date of the 9th of March 2024, but all is not lost for the 2011 version flag, as this will be used as a ceremonial flag and therefore won't be pushed away into the history books. For a fascinating and detailed overview of the Utah flag, then check out Vex head Andy's Flagged for Content podcast, details in the description for that episode, and to find out more about US state flags, then check out this video.